when you go home, there's very much this sense of, oh, I'm home now.
Two extremes. Yes, complete opposites. But you are very torn if to vote for the countryside.
Yes.
City or countryside? We are gonna go and ask foreigners in Japan today. My name is Cathy Cat, and Ask Japanese is gonna head out and ask the foreigners when they come to Japan if they prefer the countryside or the city, no matter if they're just visiting or if they have lived here for a longer time. So let's go and ask foreigners in Japan. You just mentioned that you've come here on a trip more on the countryside. So where do you actually want to go more to in Japan? Do you want to go to the countryside or do you want to go to the city? Please vote. City!
Oh, man.
Oh, mine is easy.
Oh, I'm battling, but yeah.
Countryside.
I have already done a city, so I want to go in countryside.
Countryside.
Okay, city.
City.
I've already seen the countryside and I'm very interested in the city because it seems there's so much to explore and many of my Japanese friends are from Tokyo, so I want to see what they like about it and all the different things that it has to offer.
What do you enjoy about Tokyo City so far?
So far, at least this street in Harajuku is so interesting because at least I've never seen anything like this in Canada where there's so many like little shops and they're so interesting. They're all so different and I think that's very interesting to see.
Well, we live in the countryside in Tochigi, and I love it. I love the scenery there. It's so beautiful. It changes colors all year, which is not something I'm used to, being from Los Angeles, where everything is one color all year round, unless it's on fire. Yeah. And yes, Los Angeles is on fire right now.
Oh my god.
Every summer. I really love temples, and you get so much more of that in the countryside than you do in the city.
Your reason for loving the countryside?
I battled because I actually do love coming to the city, but ultimately I come from the country in America as well, and I live in the same place. We both live in Tochigi, so we both live in the countryside. And ultimately it's really nice that when we come to visit the city, when you go home, there's very much this sense of, oh, I'm home now. And the people are very friendly, and I've had a wonderful experience there. And then beyond that, the food is amazing. And sometimes it's just nice to go and have a place to relax. There's not much hustle and bustle. You're just there. And you can be there in nature or you can be there with people. And I feel like in Tokyo, sometimes you have a little bit of trouble of maybe finding that nature or finding a place to that's super quiet. Yeah. Ultimately, that's what made me pick the country again, which I'm actually kind of surprised by myself.
What can you actually recommend on the Japanese countryside? What does the Japanese countryside have that the city does not give you?
Cheaper strawberries.
Yes, they do.
Cheaper strawberries.
Well, that's because Tochigi is famous for its strawberries, right?
Yes, super famous. And then beyond that, the food is also really different.
Outdoor baths. Outdoor onsen, hot springs are the best, and especially in the winter when you're surrounded by snow and you go into the hot spring, it's amazing.
So that's something to look out for you guys when you come to Japan. Yes. Now you could not make a decision.
No, because how can I? They're so different. I want to see both. Probably the number one thing that I want to see and I'm excited for is Fuji, and that's countryside. So I'm really excited to see that. But being in Tokyo is obviously amazing, so I can't say that I don't, or I've never wanted to go to Tokyo. I think that's the place first that started it all. So, yeah.
So Tokyo and Fuji.
Yes.
Two extremes.
Yes. Complete opposites. But no, I definitely want to see both, and I can't compare. They're both amazing.
Well, where we live, it's not like a city, but it's not countryside. It's mostly leaning towards countryside. So I really like the city. I like kind of all it's very busy. Like everyone's doing something. There's always something going on, and that's what I really enjoy.
So how do you like Tokyo so far?
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, really good. There's so much to do.
What makes it different from where you're from?
Mostly because for example, we were just walking back at 4 o'clock in the morning and there were still people about, whereas back where we're from, nobody's about at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday night. People it looks like people go out after work and things, like to go out and socialise, whereas people don't really do that at home. They just go home and watch Netflix.
Right, you countryside. Tell me why.
Because last year I've come to Japan and I've done the city, so I want to go in the countryside.
What part of the countryside do you want to see?
The south.
The
The south.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So Kyushu or Osaka.
Osaka. I would like to go to Osaka. Yes.
Right. So more the countryside around Osaka.
I don't know the name yet.
All right. Just somewhere different.
Somewhere different.
You said both. You could not decide. Why?
Yeah, why? Because this is first time for me that I come in Japan. So this time we stay 3 weeks in the city. So the next time maybe in the countryside, but I didn't do the both. So I want to do the both.
So in France, city or countryside, what do you prefer?
Countryside.
Yeah,
Countryside, definitely.
sure. It's much more quiet, much more cool. So countryside in France.
Countries. So that's why you couldn't decide.
Yeah.
Because for me, over time, cities are managed for tourists like us. So to take our money, no. But I prefer countryside because the story is more. I think the story is more present in the background. Yes, and if we want to enrich ourselves culturally, it's better to visit countryside.
Good point there. And you picked the city. Why?
Yes, just because it's my first time in Japan, and I wanted to see the stuff that I read on the mangas, and all that. So I wanted to see the places, but I also want to see countryside later. I would like to see how is it, Okinawa? Okinawa.
Yes,
another time, and I plan to come back for snowboarding here, because I heard that the snow is excellent in Japan.
What's the great thing about Japanese cities?
So different, so well organised, streamlined, so bright, vibrant. Yeah.
The food, the nightlife, the brightness of the neon lights, the culture, the people, the fashion, technology, all the fun stuff.
So here in Japan, which cities have you enjoyed the most so far?
Kyoto for me has been my favourite. I liked it. I found it was a bit more old school Japan. It was really had a real beautiful vibe about it.
As a point of difference, Tokyo. I just have never been to a city like it before.
What's different from Australia?
Oh, just the size, the sheer mass of people, and just how well organised it is, and how efficient it is. Train system's amazing. Our public transport is deplorable in comparison. Yeah, it's fabulous here.
Well, you were very torn if to vote for the countryside.
Yes, I think the countryside's beautiful to look at. It's very scenic. It's very green. People again are very nice there as well. So yeah, it's a hard one.
So, city versus countryside. How about you? What do you prefer, city or countryside? Let us know in the comments down below. I personally, after living here for a while, think I still prefer the city. I like the buzz of Tokyo. I like that there's always something happening, the amounts of people, and you're very, very quick to go to other places because obviously major stations can take you to other regions of Japan. And also, I'm living now very much in the center, which is great for doing my YouTube channel, so I can head out and do vlogs and stuff very quickly without always having to think, wow, it's an hour to travel there, things like that. So yeah, I'm quite happy about that. So you guys, let me know, city or countryside. Looking forward to your comments, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out. Catch you soon. Bye!